Hello, welcome to video. Now if you're not excited for the Fable reboot, then I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. It is looking to be an absolutely massive RPG game coming to the Xbox and maybe other platforms. We will see, and we'll get into it in this video because today we have so many rumors, so much speculations, leaks, insider tips, and of course my personal thoughts. So let's start off with the biggest thing. When is it coming out? Well, we know it's coming out in 2025. It's not a 100% done deal, but insiders have said the same thing. Developers have come out. There's been so many talks about this game coming out in 2025 that it is shocking if it wouldn't release. We are going to get some gameplay in January. Now, if we don't get it in January, we'll get it in June, and that means the game will release in about September, October time. However, if we get it in January, there is a high possibility that we could get Fable around April or May. Now here's why. Firstly, Avowed is coming out in February, and we're going to get another game from Obsidian later this year, The Outer Worlds 2. Now if that game is coming out, it's more than likely going to release around October, the later part of 2025, which only leaves one room for Fable, which would be somewhere in the middle because you can't release two big RPG games at the same time. Of course, Xbox still do need to market this game, but you gotta understand that not all games have a massive marketing schedule like GTA or The Witcher. A lot of the internal games from Xbox and PlayStation themselves usually get a lot of publicity during their events. Marketing also usually lasts anywhere from 3 to 6 months to like 2 years, so we don't really know, and this shouldn't play that big of a factor. But if the game releases in the middle of 2025, they've got about 3, 4, 5 months of marketing, and also the game's already quite popular and people are looking forward to it, so they don't need a crazy amount of marketing to lead this on. Next up, I want to talk about the early alpha build for this game because there have been a few people like Jez Cord and other media members who have seen the game in its early alpha stages, and everybody is saying the same thing. It looks incredible, which is kind of shocking because this is Playground Games' first RPG game. They've been amazing in Forza Horizon, but that's a racing game and the formula's already there, so they can just import it from one game to the next. But to be able to show off Fable and have all these insiders saying nothing but amazing things is a big sign that this game could actually be something special. And it needs to be, because later on we're going to talk about something quite crazy when it comes to this game. They've also taken a lead combat designer from The Witcher 3 into Fable, which is already a huge step. I mean, get any core developer from The Witcher 3 and you're cooking a recipe for success. These guys created, and hot take here, one of the greatest RPG games of all time, and probably the greatest RPG game of all time. But also don't forget that The Witcher 3's combat was actually one of its weakest points. Now I don't actually think so. I think the combat's very good, especially when you consider that you're fighting things from humans to small creatures to massive dragons. So the size and variety of all these different creatures and the way they move, it's very tough to make gameplay and combat centered around that so it fits all the playstyles, because a lot of times if you have, for example, a slow and tanky combat style, you're going to struggle severely with creatures that are much faster. So for what The Witcher 3 offered, I think its combat system is actually pretty damn great, and if they implement it into Fable, we're looking for something really amazing here. I mean, remember, The Witcher 3 and Fable both have one thing in common. They have a crap ton of enemy variety, and in Fable you have a bow, you have guns, you have swords, you have axes, magic, and in one of the gameplay footage they were talking about a magic spell that lifts enemies up into the air, holds them there, and then you can shoot them with your bow, which was actually shown off in the latest gameplay trailer. The lead writer for Fable left in July, and some people were worried about this, but you gotta remember, they are pretty much done with the game. The story is done, the writing is done. All they're doing now is bug fixes and testing the gameplay. The main foundation and structure of the game was completed ages ago, so her leaving doesn't actually make a difference. They're probably just tweaking bits of writing here and there. Nothing major is gonna be changed now anyway, so there's literally no reason to worry about that. Now, let's talk about something that I am very hopeful for, and that is a male character. I don't mind playing as females in game, but the female for this game isn't very much to my liking. And also not just that, but when it comes to Fable or RPG games in general, but especially Fable, when a game offers you the ability to romance, in that case I do want to play as a guy, because if I play as a girl, I'm not going to marry a guy, right? It's just going to be a little bit strange. And if I play as a girl and I marry a girl, I'm gonna have to adopt kids or what. It would all feel a bit weird, so I prefer the option. And it's Fable, it's gonna have the option, right? We're talking about a game here where in 2008 they gave you the option for a man and a woman. Then in 2010 it's the same thing, so why would they change it now? So even though it's not been leaked or confirmed, we know it's gonna have a male counterpart because it just seems kind of ridiculous to not have that. During the beginning of the Fable development, people had a lot of theories and there were some leaks talking about how the Spire's coming back or this person's coming back, Jack of Blades. We are at the point that nothing is known at all about the story of this game. The only thing we kind of have a hint at is what the trailers have shown us, and in the latest trailer they gave us one of two ways to look at it. There was a villain and some people theorized it was Teresa, or that we were talking about someone new. However, it could also be interpreted that that was supposed to signify you could have been the villain. That's to suggest that you can go be the bad guy, which is super important because again, this is Fable. And there are certain aspects of the game that make it the way it is. So if they remove, for example, morality, then it wouldn't be Fable, would it? Speaking of which, we do not have a single update when it comes to the morality system or the renown system or body transformation. And that is a shame. Again, January we should see some gameplay. January we should get a lot of information, and hopefully by January we'll get confirmation that morality is coming back, renown is coming back, and body transformation, because the way Fable does body transformation is different to literally every other game out there. If you spend your experience points on melee, you will get more buff. If you spend it on skill, you'll get taller, and if you spend it on magic, you'll get lines and glow around your body, which is just something super unique to this game. Character customization is something fans definitely want as well, but there's no way of telling if we'll actually get this aside from changing hairstyles. Players want to adjust things like facial shapes, skin color, but if it's following the direction of CDPR and The Witcher 3, it may just give us two blanket characters that are set in stone like Geralt, but we can modify the beard and hairstyles, basically like in Fable 2. But I really do hope it allows more customization options like skin color and like different facial shapes, just because this isn't an RPG game with set characters, again like The Witcher 3 or Assassin's Creed Odyssey or Valhalla. This is more like Dragon Age, so hopefully we do get just a deeper level of character customization. Now let's talk about some pretty big news that was shown earlier, and that is Fable might go to PlayStation. Now, I don't care at all. I hope it does go to PlayStation because I want more people to experience what hopefully is an amazing game. I've got a PC, I've got an Xbox, so again, doesn't make a difference to me, but I know that there are some Xbox fans that are a bit mad just because it makes you feel like it invalidates your purchase, because at this point, why even buy a Xbox? Just go get a PC or a PlayStation because the games are going to go there anyway. Though I say that, it will be a timed exclusive most likely. The main reason for this is because Fable is a massive game, and I mean it is huge. Jez Corder from Windows Central says it was monstrously expensive, and you can tell just from the trailer, the way they're advertising it, the years of development time, you can see Xbox really want to make this game special. They're not holding back at all. Take the money, take the time, release something great, but they need to recoup it. And Game Pass doesn't recoup it as much as people think it does. And the last bit of info is that the game is going to be very similar to The Witcher 3, which is something that's been theorized for a long time before the game was even shown, that it's going to have a lot of similarities to The Witcher 3. Now, I'm two ways about this. On one hand, of course, I absolutely adore The Witcher 3, so anything that they try to implement from that game is most likely going to be incredible. But Fable is not The Witcher 3, Fable is not Cyberpunk, Fable is not Skyrim, it's not Dragon Age, it's none of these games. It's got its own unique twist, it's got its own unique gameplay loop, it's got everything that makes it such a different type of game. Like, you can play Fable 1 right now, 20 or 21 years after release, and still get such a unique experience compared to other games, because no other games do it like Fable. So hopefully it's more taking inspiration and great parts about The Witcher 3 and bringing it over, rather than replacing already amazing parts from Fable with The Witcher 3. Until January, that's pretty much all we have at the moment. If there's any more leaks, I'll keep you updated. I'm personally super excited for this game, which is weird because I lost all hope in 2023 when they showed the gameplay, because it just didn't look like Fable. The graphics were amazing and the gameplay snippets did look very good. But Fable is known to have this very weird design when it comes to its characters. But it's what made the game charming, whereas this new trailer, things looked more realistic and I didn't like that. But it's a new studio, it's 10 plus years. after their last release, so we expect to see a lot of different changes. The trailer in 2024, however, the one we got just 6 months ago, really did bring me back in and show that, yeah, this game is actually going to be something really incredible, not just because of the graphics, but because of the vibe it set. It was much different, especially with Humphrey, I think his name was. It made me feel just a bit more reassured. The development time has been huge, but a decent portion of that is due to internal issues. Now, we know Fable's been in development since about 2018. That's when it initially started. Now, we're getting it in 2025, so we're looking at 7 years of development time, which you could interpret it as 2 different ways. One would be, wow, they really care about this game. It's gonna be huge, it's gonna be crazy. Or you could interpret it as, there were so many issues that things had to be scrapped and restarted, which we know is kind of true. There have been multiple setbacks. Hopefully they've been addressed and fixed. It seems that way because Xbox hasn't rushed this at all. And again, we got the first trailer in 2020. Now it's going to release in 2025. All my days, I feel so old. Was it really 5 years ago we got the trailer for Fable? There's no way it was 5 years ago. One other reason why I'm not too pumped up and excited is because of Xbox's track record. They haven't released an amazing game in many years. I literally cannot remember the last game from Xbox that I went, wow, that was really good. Because as far as I remember, it was pretty much just Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and some say Hi-Fi Rush, but that was like a stealth drop. Nobody's really excited. And these aren't the big AAA games we're talking about, right? We're talking about something with a big world and massive combat, something to really get you excited over. And as much as I love Ori, and trust me, I do, like Ori and the Blind Forest is one of only 5 games I've ever given a 10 out of 10. It's not really a big hit, you know, it's not a Fable or Gears. And if Xbox can mess up Gears of War, Halo, and other big franchises, then I'm very worried for Fable. New people who haven't played the previous Fable games are looking into this completely differently than the older fans. They see the trailer and they go, wow, a cool action game. I look at it and go, where's the RPG parts? Where's the morality and the renown? Like, this is what we need. This is what is Fable. And the last thing that I'm personally worried about is if there's going to be any woke ideology infesting this game. It seems like it will be, but if it's got a good world and good gameplay, good side missions, and the story isn't too much in your face about Orange Man bad, then I can kind of get over all the weird parts. Because it doesn't ruin the game, right? Like in Dragon Age the Veilguard, the chick talking about how she's non-binary or whatever, it doesn't ruin the whole game, but it just breaks immersion. It makes things feel weird and out of place. Like, we're talking about fighting dragons and wars, and you're sitting at a table telling me about your gender or your sexual preference. I don't give a fuck. Let's go fight some bad guys. Let's go bloody my sword. Let's go do something. Like, fuck this shit, man. Damn. It also doesn't help that the lead writer loved to go on Twitter and talk about the President of the United States in very non-lovely ways. Now, honestly, I don't care. Like, you can go on Twitter and your personal places and talk about whatever you want. It doesn't affect me. I'll still buy the game. I'll still enjoy the product. But it just seems like with people who have this woke ideology, they can't help but infest it into the products that they sell. So we'll see how it goes with Fable. I really hope that Playground Games doesn't do that and it's just going to be a great game. My expectations are super high when it comes to certain aspects of it, but I'm also not going to just sit here and pretend like there aren't a bunch of other reasons to be worried. Only time will tell, and a lot of questions will be answered once we get some real gameplay. But that's just my opinion and you can disagree. But this is the end of the video and my time has come. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye.